Starting with a short story written by Andrzej Sapkowski in 1986, the world of The Witcher has grown into a global phenomenon of novels, animations, 2 TV series, and most importantly, video games. Here in 2022, we find ourselves waiting impatiently for the next installment from Polish developer CD Projekt Red, and our heads are absolutely full of ideas about what this next offering might bring. To be clear, as of yet, there is very little official information available. The developer has confirmed that the game is coming, which is nice, but otherwise we know basically nothing. That's not going to keep us from some good old-fashioned wild speculation, though. As we endure the long wait for the game, it's time to activate our speculative mutagens and talk about what we'd like to experience in CD Projekt Red's upcoming opus. I'm Witcher trainee Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 things we want to see in the next Witcher game. Number 10. A relatively bug-free release. Alright, let's just get this one out of the way. CD Projekt Red will know better than anyone how important it is that they get this right. The launch of gritty science fiction epic Cyberpunk 2077 was completely hamstrung by bugs, crashes, and other problems. The game's condition upon release hit gamers right in their trust glands, and the fallout, no pun intended, hit CD Projekt Red in their bank account too. What should have been another roaring success for a burgeoning developer became a PR disaster and a permanent stain on their reputation. Of course, if we want to see the new Witcher game released in our lifetime, we're going to have to accept that bugs and teething problems are inevitable. The launch of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was not without its issues, and such legendary series as Assassin's Creed and The Elder Scrolls have been known to contain more than a few glitches from time to time too. The thing is, thanks to the uproar that surrounded Cyberpunk's near unplayable state at launch, this next Witcher game is going to be scrutinized meticulously inside and out for bugs of any kind. Let's hope all they find are the flies buzzing around NPC corpses. And those big centipede things, yeah, you know the ones. Number 9. Large-scale side quests and DLC. You may think this entry boils down to us just asking CD Projekt Red for more stuff, and that's basically true. We here at TripleJump like stuff, and we like a lot of it. However, right now we're specifically talking about the DLCs for The Witcher 3. Hearts of Stone was great, and Blood of Wine was magnificent. Adding a massive new area to explore, the region of Toussaint offers a completely different flavour to what we've seen in the game so far. It replaced the dismal, swampy hamlets of Velen and the hauntingly beautiful highlands of Skellige with a colourful trip through picturesque vineyards under bright subtropical sunshine. This DLC offered side quests galore and a gripping central storyline, not to mention Regis the Vampire. I ship Regald. Similarly, the larger scale side quests were a highlight of the main game. The Witcher 3 did a good job of mixing in side stories to spice up monster hunts and fetch quests, but the highlights were the big, meaty ones, and no, I'm not just referring to the Bloody Baron. More of that sort of thing, please. Number 8. Realistic and consistent environmental effects. The world of The Witcher 3 felt incredibly authentic, from the creepy, crone-infested Crookback Bog to the idyllic promenades of Beauclair and Toussaint. The game was a joy to explore and experience. However, and at the risk of sounding picky, could have been even more captivating. The developers could use the advances in technology to add a few touches to really make Geralt, Ciri, or whoever we're putting control of feel like a part of that world. Features such as consistent footprints and better water effects would help things feel more real, and CD Projekt Red could take some pointers from some of The Witcher 3's contemporaries in depicting how Geralt interacts with the environment. In the likes of Uncharted 4 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, for example, the way that Nathan and Lara bend foliage aside as they brush past does a lot to make their surroundings feel real. Geralt, on the other hand, just walks right through shrubs and trees as if he or they are spooky ghosts. Small details like that do a great deal to absorb the player into the world, and doesn't the next game in the series deserve every bit of care and attention that can be lavished upon it? It's not that we're being picky or ungrateful, we just want the best Witcher game we can possibly get. Number 7. More interesting crafting and potion mixing. Maintaining equipment, gathering ingredients, and brewing potions are all big parts of a Witcher's lifestyle, and all 3 Witcher games have rightly included these things. However, not everyone wants to delve into menus and inventory screens filled with monster gizzards, bits of leather, and 19 varieties of toadstools every time they want to brew up a superior white honey. The crafting is essential for the lore, but we feel that CD Projekt Red can improve the way in which it's handled. The Last of Us Part 2, for example, gives players a fascinating visual component alongside its crafting system, and they added interactivity makes the whole process that much more interesting. Even something akin to Breath of the Wild's fun cooking animations would be a nice addition. We just want the crafting and menu system spiced up a little, basically. The world of The Witcher is rich and fascinating, and sorting through a grid containing 15 slightly different pairs of boots is not. Animate it, streamline it, just do something with it, and we'll be happy. Number 6. Improved combat and more effective signs. At its best, the combat in The Witcher 3 was spectacular, a deadly dance of swords and spells that usually culminated in bandit body parts arcing off majestically into the countryside. At its worst though, it could be clunky and boring. Geralt's attacks could feel inconsistent at times and the controls were a little imprecise. Now, we are not game developers, but it feels like the combat needs a few tweaks to meet the quality of the rest of the game. Of course, it's important that whatever CD Projekt Red decides to do with the combat, the experience should maintain its own identity. As much as we love the Souls games, we don't want The Witcher to become another Souls-like. We want it to be The Witcher, but better. As for Geralt's magical attacks, were you one of the people who only ever used the Igni sign? Maybe when a tougher enemy came along, you shielded yourself with a quick Quen. You probably seldom used any of the other signs though. Barely an Erden, not even a hint of Axii, and that's fine, we feel the same. What we want is for the next Witcher game to make all of the signs a little more useful. Surely that shouldn't be too hard to achieve, Number 5. Better pacing and clarity in the early game. Imagine, if you will, stepping into The Witcher 3 with no prior knowledge or experience of the series. You never played the previous games, you never read any of the books, and you haven't watched the shows. Would you have stuck with it? Maybe, but not necessarily. The Witcher 3 presented a bit of a wall to climb early on for the casual gamer or those without a previous investment in the series, whether it was due to the bleak tone of the opening area, the lack of real information as to who Yennefer actually is and why Geralt is so keen on finding her, or the abundance of menus, inventory items and ingredients thrown at the player. For many, The Witcher 3 didn't achieve classic status until they reached the likes of Novigrad or even Skellige. The opening cinematic was great and set the scene for a grim fantasy world where life is cheap, but didn't really explain much to the uninitiated, and then Geralt was left to slog through muddy villages for hours on end before the story picked up again. Alas, not everyone had the patience to get through it. Make the first course a bit more palatable, CD Projekt Red, and we're more likely to stay for dessert. Number 4. More RPG elements and a world that changes. Two things that are extremely important to the role-playing part of an RPG are customization and immersion. The Witcher 3, and indeed The Witcher 1 and 2, handled these things extremely well, but we feel like there's even more that could be done in the next game. Whether we're playing as Geralt, Ciri, or someone else, we'd like to be able to affect how they approach things. Some RPG elements that allow the player to really develop their character, perhaps focusing on signs, stealth, or survival over swordplay would be welcome and would help entice players back for multiple playthroughs as well. As for immersion, there are some big decisions to be made over the course of The Witcher 3 that you might expect to have huge and immediate implications for the game world. However, this isn't always the case. For example, if King Radovid was killed in your playthrough, the populace is still happily burning books in Novigrad afterwards. Give us the power to really change the world, CD Projekt Red. We promise we won't abuse it much, but we will abuse it though. Number 3. Meeting more Witchers. The life of a Witcher can be a solitary one. Cast out by society, slandered in stories and whispered tales, and feared by the very people they protect, it's a lonely world for these long-lived monster slayers. And it's for this reason that many players took such great joy in those moments in the previous games when Geralt and his fellow Witchers came together, whether it was to undertake a quest, defend Kaer Morhen, or enjoy a good old-fashioned drinking session. The Witchers have their differences for sure, but they all have an undeniable connection too. No one truly understands the life of a Witcher better than another. Their bonds are forged in the harshest of fires, and when the world rallies against them, they only have each other to rely on. Of course, there aren't many Witchers left by the time of the Witcher 3 story, but if CD Projekt Red decide to set their new Witcher game in the past, there could be ample opportunity for Witcher team-ups. We hope so anyway. How else will we get to experience more delightful exchanges like Geralt's heartfelt limerick about Lambert?
Lambert, what a prick.
Brings a tear to the eye. Number 2. Experiencing the Witcher trials. Yet another slice of fascinating Witcher lore, the Witcher trials have already been explored in The Witcher 3 to a limited extent. The Trial of Grass's quest focuses on a terribly painful trial in which the Witcher's body is treated with potions and chemicals designed to change their physiology. But there are more trials that could make for some excellent quest fodder. The Trial of Dreams is generally overseen by druids or mages and consists of induced psychedelic visions. Perhaps it could be experienced in-game similarly to how the Dragon Age series presents The Fade. There's also the Trial of Mountains, in which Witchers of the Wolf School must travel into the mountains near Kaer Morhen to retrieve their medallions. These trips to the mountains are set up perfectly for an in-game quest and even differ depending on the Witcher school. If this new Witcher game does end up being set in the past, or somehow lets us step into the shoes of a newly initiated Witcher, these trials would certainly present a fascinating opening in which our Witcher trainee buddies fall by the wayside as we progress. Talk about a dramatic tutorial mission. Number 1. More, or perhaps less, Gwent. Everyone loves Gwent, right? I mean, it's got its own spin-off game, so everyone obviously loves it. For those who are in the Gwent sympathizers camp, it was a delightful distraction from the exploration and combat. It was also an opportunity to play a deep and enjoyable card game with a variety of colourful characters dotted around the land, soaking up that village pub atmosphere. For those who can't stand it, Gwent is an impenetrable ordeal that every other local will hassle you to play when you really should be concentrating on other, more important matters. This all comes to a head in The Witcher 3 quest, A Dangerous Game, in which Geralt is forced to play Gwent for a man's life. Many people let poor Ravik die that day, I can tell you. Basically, whether you love or hate Gwent, you can't deny that a new Witcher game without it would seem strange. So basically, some people want more Gwent, some people will want no Gwent, and CD Projekt Red probably can't make both camps happy. It will certainly be interesting to see how they try though, and who knows, maybe they'll dream up a different minigame entirely that's even better.